There are 7 billion of us. 7 billion. By the year 2050, it's supposed to be 9 billion. Even today, majority of us live in conditions that most of us in this room cannot even comprehend. This is not right. This is not right, and it keeps me awake. It keeps me awake because I shudder at the thought of my son asking me this question 10 years down the line. How did you guys mess it up so bad? And why did you not do something about it? How can you let majority of your fellow human beings live in conditions that are just not acceptable? The water that they are drinking is not drinkable. The air that they breathe is not breathable. The land where they live is not livable. That's not right, and it keeps me awake. It should keep you awake. For me, design is about creating a better world. It's about creating solutions that make us go, wow, I really want to use that. I want to buy that. I want to invest in that because it's going to make my life better. I teach in the industrial design program here at Virginia Tech. I use design as a tool, as a catalyst to empower people who are living below the poverty line. This is where we play, this is where we pray for a better future, and this is where we create awesome solutions. And when I say we, I am representing a team here, team of students from design, architecture, engineering, computer science, as well as faculty from engineering and other disciplines who I have been fortunate enough to collaborate with, who are as passionate about this issue as I am. Just to name a few, because I feel their contribution has been so important that I cannot skip over their names. One is Aditya Johari, professor from engineering education, who is at a different university now. And another one is Srinath Eckert, who is helping me with the current project, which I'll tell you in a little bit. So how do you design for poor? If I ask you, what do you know about poverty? The first images that come to your mind is filthy slums, kids just sitting around, nobody's taking care of them. Those are the first images that come to our mind. And if we let those images dictate what we do about that issue, it's going to backfire. So I decided to spend some quality time with people that I intended to design for. And it was an illuminating, eye-opening experience. The lady in yellow, she runs a dental clinic that serves about 26 villages in that area. The lady in pink, she is teaching another person from sub-Saharan Africa how to assemble a solar lantern. And the fourth person is assembling voltage control modules that allow you to transfer solar energy, convert it into electrical energy, and store it in a battery. All four of them can barely read or write. All four of them are as smart as me or you in this room. All four of them deserve the same respect for what they do as any of us in this room. So this was my education. But if I decide to include students in this project, I have to take them to India. And we do a little bit of touristy things, but we also walk in the slums, we go talk to the villagers, we spend some quality time with people that we are trying to design for. As a result, when we come back, our solutions, our imaginations are not driven by dirty waters, filthy slums, but we know that, oh, we are designing for people who are really smart. Because imagine surviving on $2 a day. It would take a lot of smarts. It would take a lot of resource management to survive in those conditions. So I'm going to share one such project with you. It's called Immune. Did you know there are 3 million deaths every year because of vaccine-preventable diseases? A simple shot could have saved that life. In today's day and age, we have the doctors, we have the vaccines, we have organizations like Gates Foundation who are pouring in millions to tackle this issue. And we still have about 3 million who are dying every year. It doesn't matter where they are, but majority are in the developing world. So we decided to take a look at what are the reasons, why is it like this? And one of the main reasons is not lack of vaccines, it's the record keeping. It's paper-based, it's time-consuming, it takes a lot of human resources, and in the end, it acts as a barrier rather than a facilitator for vaccination. While doing this, we also realized there is a huge increase in people who are using cell phones, especially who are living below the poverty line. And that didn't make sense, because how can you invest 2 years' worth of your salary into buying a cell phone, but you are not passionate about or you are not concerned about vaccinating your child? So we continued to explore that. We also looked at the cultural practices, like the importance of jewelry for kids, importance of toys, and whether kids are growing up in Blacksburg or in rural India, they all like toys, they all like knickknacks. So at this point, we thought we had a pretty solid understanding of the bigger picture, that now we can start to explore what can be done, not about vaccination, but about information management for vaccination. This is what we did. We created a central cloud-based database system that can be accessed using a smartphone, which is running an app that we designed, or it can be accessed using a desktop computer where you can add administrative functions and explore the users. It has a third component, which is the analog part, which stays with the end user, which stays with the patients or their families. If I'm poor, if I'm illiterate, I do not want another vaccination card that I cannot make any sense of, that I'm supposed to safekeep. So we decided to kind of allocate our resources where they made sense. The way it works is the healthcare worker shows up in the village or the community, creates a new patient, clicks a picture of the child that is embedded into the record, and then that record is linked to a QR code, which can be stuck on the house, outside the house, on a pendant, on a card, on a toy, whichever way the family accepts it. We don't care. And it's a really inexpensive sticker, right? When it's time for the healthcare worker to go back, they can access the database, know exactly how many children need what sort of vaccination, get to the site prepared, scan the QR code before administering the new shots. They know what are the shots that are needed. Before they do that, they compare the picture with the child so that there has been no trading of the toys. Make sure that you are giving the shots to the right kid. Do your job. At the same time, just by a few taps, update the record, which updates it at the central database, move on to the next patient. The time saved by using this system can then be utilized for vaccinating more children, or talking to parents who are not convinced of the benefits of vaccination. As I stand here today, there are 2 organizations in India who are implementing 2 different versions of this program. I'm talking with 5 others who I hope to convince or persuade to run a pilot program so that we can spread the number of people who can get impacted by this. That's pretty good, right? For a research project that started in the studio and we just sat around, said, let's do something about it. And within like few years, actually one of the students who wrote the code is sitting right here in the audience. It has the potential in the next 5 years to impact not just hundreds, but thousands of kids. That's pretty good, right? Not for me. With more than 4 billion living below the poverty line, I think we have to do more. I think we can do more. We ought to do more. So I'm just going to give you a glimpse of what we are working on. If you are a person living in poverty, you probably use a biomass burning stove, you collect your fuel from the forest for free, you have somehow managed to get a cell phone, because you know if you have a cell phone, you can talk to your friends, get more opportunities that can translate into higher income, but you have no way of charging it. I am working with Professor Srinath Eckert on designing a device that can be attached to any heat source, in this case, a stove, and that would provide enough electricity for you to charge 2 cell phones in the time it takes you to cook a meal. It's not a new idea. You can buy something like this off the shelf right now, but we hope we can do it for about 1/10 of its current cost. For the sake of a better, just future, I really hope we do. Thank you.